Hello, hello. How are you doing? This is Sunko, the Korean bro, and tonight's menu is pitch in Korea. Pitch in Korea. I live in an apartment, and every now and then a truck comes by, and you can find fruit trucks carrying seasonal fruits. That's where I bought my peach. And some apartments have regular times and places, and others you just need to be in the right place at the right time to buy peach. Mm. And you can also just can go to grocery store or local supermarket to buy this one. Of course, the price will depend on the size and number of peaches you get. Okay, just like everywhere else. And fruits in Korea are especially very seasonal, and some are only available at certain times of the year. And there were a few available in my kitchen, so I was thinking, why not bring this peach and eat it for tonight's life? You know what I'm saying? So these peaches have such soft and succulent flash that drips down your hand and arm with each bite. You know what I'm saying? Like each bite, like water drips down your hand, which makes it more juicy and more flavorful. More flavor. Anyway, okay, I'm going to eat this one. It could be a bit large, but I'm gonna try it. Okay. Mmm. Mmm. Juicy. See, like all the water inside. You see? Mm. Last night, I ate 삼각김밥, and when I ate that, I was so thirsty, so I wanted to drink something. But then, since today's menu is peach, I don't have to drink something else because water here, right? About a week ago, like I said earlier, truck came by and my mom asked me to go out and buy like 15 peaches or so. If you buy it from fruit truck, you can buy it with cheap price, most likely. If chances are met, I'm gonna show you my apartment, the place where I live in. Mm. Mm. So good, healthy. Mm. Sometimes I get really, really hungry and starving at night instead of ordering chicken, eating this is better option like these days for me because I mean if I eat chicken like too often it's only gonna make me fat, but then if I eat this it would just maintain my like healthiness and like my weight. So boring comments, right? Boring comment. So obvious, true, obvious. Hmm. Okay, I'm done eating. I'm gonna have to wipe off the water off of my hand. Hold on, hold on. There you are. Okay, last night I read a book called um The Most Dangerous Game, and I'm going to keep reading this. Just so you know, this is a short story written by Cornell, the guy who also wrote Alice in the Wonderland. And so far, the story has been interesting. Hmm. Let me tell you, like only like plots. I mean, so far what has happened. The main character is in the island where a few people lives in. He's right here in the island, and he meets some random people whom he has no idea of, um, and he has no idea what would happen to him. And like characters who already live in this island seems to be really dangerous people. Hmm. And the main character's name here is Rainsford. The point of this book is about how Rainsford will go through a lot of obstacles and how he would overcome that obstacles. I think that's how the story would go. Uh, I'll keep reading this. Okay, for 30 minutes. All right. Okay. He said in the slow tone, I hunt more dangerous game. Rainsford expressed his surprise. Is there big game on this island? The general nodded. The biggest. Really? Oh, isn't here naturally, of course. I have to stock the island. What have you imported, General? Rainsford asked. Tigers? The general smiled. No, he said. Hunting tigers ceased to interest me some years ago. I exhausted their possibilities. You see, no thrill left in tigers, no real danger. I leave for danger, Mr. Rainsford. The general took from his pocket a gold cigarette case and offered his guest a long black cigarette with a silver tip. It was perfumed and gave off a smell like incense. We will have some capital hunting, you and I, said the general. I shall be most glad to have your society. But what game? Began Rainsford. I'll tell you, said the general. You will be amused. I know. I think I may say, in all modesty, that I have done a rare thing. I have invented a new sensation. May I pour you another glass of port? Thank you, General. The General filled both glasses and said, God makes some men poets. Some he makes kings, some beggars. Me he made a hunter. My hand was made for the trigger, my father said. He was a very rich man with 250,000 acres in the Crimea, and he was an ardent sportsman. When I was only 5 years old, he gave me a little gun specially made in Moscow for me to shoot sparrows with. When I shot some of his prize turkeys with it, he did not punish me. He complimented me on my marksmanship. I killed my first bear in the Caucasus when I was 10. My whole life has been one prolonged hunt. I went into the army. It was expected of noblemen's sons, and for a time commanded a division of Cossack cavalry, but my real interest was always the hunt. I have hunted every kind of game in every land. It would be impossible for me to tell you how many animals I have killed. The general puffed at his cigarette. After the debacle in Russia, I left the country, for it was imprudent for an officer of Caesar to stay there. Many noble Russians lost everything. I luckily had invested heavily in American securities, so I shall never have to open a room in Monte Carlo or drive a taxi in Paris. Naturally, I continued to hunt grizzlies in your Rockies, crocodiles in the Ganges, rhinoceroses in East Africa. It was in Africa that the Cape buffalo hit me and lay me up for 6 months. As soon as I recovered, I started for the Amazon to hunt jaguars, for I had heard they were unusually cunning. They weren't. The Cossack side. There were no match at all for a hunter with his wits about him and a high powdered rifle. I was bitterly disappointed. I was lying in my tent with a splitting headache one night when a terrible thought pushed its way into my mind. Hunting was beginning to bore me, and hunting, remember, had been my life. I have heard that in America businessmen often go to pieces when they give up the businesses that has been their life. Yes, that's so, said Rainsford. The general smiled. I had no wish to go to pieces, he said. I must do something. Now mine is an analytical mind, Mr. Rainsford. Doubtless that is why I enjoy the problems of the chase. No doubt, General Zeroff. So continued the general. I asked myself why the hunt no longer fascinated me. You are much younger than I am, Mr. Rainsford, and have not hunted as much, but you perhaps can guess the answer. What was it? Simply this. Hunting has you are much younger than I am, Mr. Rainsford, and have not hunted as much, but you perhaps can guess the answer. What was it? Simply this. Hunting had ceased to be what you call a sporting proposition. It had become too easy. I always got my quarry, always. There is no greater bore than perfection. The general lit a fresh cigarette. No animal had a chance with me anymore. That is no boast. It is a mathematical certainty. The animal had nothing but his legs and his instinct. Instinct is no match for reason. When I thought of this, it was a tragic moment for me, I can tell you. Rainsford leaned across the table, absorbed in what his host was saying. It came to me as an inspiration What I must do, the general went on. And that was the general smile, the quiet smile of one who has faced an obstacle and surmounted it with success. I had to invent a new animal to hunt, he said. A new animal? You're joking. Not at all, said the general. I never joke about mm, hunting. I needed a new animal. I found one. So I bought this island, built this house, and here I do my hunting. The island is perfect for my purposes. There are jungles with a maze of traits, and then hills, swamps. But the animal, General Seraph, oh, said the general, it supplies me with the most exciting hunting in the world. Okay, now this General Zerov is trying to make new animal. Hmm. And Range 4 is really confused, right? Hmm. Oh, said the general, it supplies me with the most exciting hunting in the world. No other hunting compares with it for an instant. Every day I hunt, I never grow bored now, for I have a quarry with which I can't match my wits. Rainsford's bewilderment showed in his face. I wanted the ideal animal to hunt, explained the general, so I said, what are the attributes of an ideal quarry? And the answer was, of course, it must have courage, cunning, and above all, it must be able to reason. But no animal can reason, objected Rainsford. My dear fellow, said the general, there is one that can. It's getting scary, but you can't mean, gasped Rainsford. And why not? I can't believe you are serious, General Zeroff. This is a grisly joke. Why should I not be serious? I'm speaking of haunting. Haunting? Great guns, General Zeroff. What you speak of is murder. The general laughed with entire good nature. Ah, hello, Imong. Nice to meet you today. Are you still in the bus? Oh yeah, I'm dead tired tonight because I'm running out of time, but I've got a lot of things to do. But what relaxes me is that this story is really interesting, so I'm fine. Oh, thank you so much. I like your voice too. Okay, I'll keep reading this. The story has been really interesting. This is horror story. There's a guy named Rainsford. He's now in an island, and he meets a random person called Zeroff. He's a general who worked in the military base before, and Zeroff idea is really scary. I mean, he loves hunting, and he's trying to hunt new animal, which is a human in this case. And now Rainsford is really scared. Mm. So far, the story has gotten that way. Hunting great guns, General Zeroff. What you speak of is murder, right? Murder. Okay. The general laughed with entire good nature. He regarded Rainsford quizzically. I refuse to believe that so modern and civilized a young man as you seem to be harbors romantic ideas about the value of human life. Surely your experiences in the war did not make me condone cold-blooded murder, finished Rainsford stiffly. Laughter shook the general. How extraordinarily droll you are, he said. One does not expect nowadays to find a young man of the educated class, even in America, with such a naive, and if I may say so, mid Victorian point of view. It's like finding a snuff box in a limousine. Oh, well, doubtless you had Puritan ancestors so many Americans appear to have had. I'll wager you'll forget your notions when you go hunting with me. You've a genuine new thrill in store for you, Mr. Rainsford. Thank you, I'm a hunter, not a murderer. Dear me, said the general, quite unruffled against that unpleasant word, but I think I can show you that your scruples are quite ill founded. Yes, life is for the strong, to be lived by the strong, and if needs be, taken by the strong. The weak of the word were put here to give the strong pleasure. Wow. He's short sighted mind is really amazing. What's the name of the book? Oh, the name of the book is The Most Dangerous Game. Hold on for a sec. I'm going to show you the. Wait, this. Can you see? Uh, Come on, zoom in, zoom in. Come on, come on, come on. Zoom out. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, it's hard for you to see. I'm to. Oh wait. Oh, I accidentally spoke Korean. I accidentally spoke Korean. I'm that much tired. Anyway, I'll keep reading the book. Okay. Life is for the strong, to be lived by the strong, and if needs be, taken by the strong. The weak of the world were put here to give the strong pleasure. Wow, what a scary mind, right? Hmm. I'm strong. Why should I not use my gift? If I wish to hunt, why should I not? I hunt the scum of the earth. Sailors from tram ships, Lascars, blacks, Chinese, whites, mongrels. A thoroughbred horse or hound is worth more than a score of them. But they are men, said Rainsford hotly. Precisely, said the general. That is why I use them. It gives me pleasure. They can reason after a fashion, so they are dangerous. But where do you get them? The general's left eyelid fluttered down in a wink. This island is called Sheep Trap, he answered. Sometimes an angry god of the high seas sends them to me. Sometimes when Providence is not so kind, I help Providence a bit. Come to the window with me. Rainsford went to the window and looked out toward the sea. Watch out there, exclaimed the general, pointing into the night. Rainsford's eyes saw only blackness, and then as the general pressed a button far out to sea, Rainsford saw the flash of lights. The general chuckled. They indicate a channel, he said, where there's none. Giant rocks with razor edges, crouched like a sea monster with wide open jaws. They can crush a ship as easily as I crush this nut. He dropped the walnut on the hardwood floor and brought his heel, grinding down on it. Oh, yes, he said, casually, as if in answer to a question. I have electricity. We try to be civilized here. Civilized? And you shoot down men? Okay, such nonsense, right? Such nonsense. A trace of anger was in the general's black eyes, but it was there for but a second, and he said, in his most pleasant manner, Dear me, what a righteous young man you are. I assure you, I do not do the thing you suggest. That would be barbarous. I treat these visitors with every consideration. They get plenty of good food and exercise. They get into splendid physical condition. You shall see for yourself tomorrow. What do you mean? We'll visit my training school, smiled the general. It's in the cellar. Wow, like he's even got training school. Hmm, interesting. Okay, I have about a dozen pupils down there now. He has even pupils. They're from the Spanish Bark, San Luca. They had the bad luck to go on the rocks out there. A very inferior lot, I regret to say. No, not pure, poor specimens and more accustomed to the dark than to the jungle. He raised his hand, and even who served as waiter brought thick Turkish coffee. Rainsford with an effort held his tongue in cheek. No, tongue in check. It's a game, you see. Pursued the general blandly. I suggest to one of them that we go hunting. I give him a supply of food and an excellent hunting knife. I give him 3 hours start. I'm to follow, armed only with a pistol of the smallest caliber and range. If my quarry eludes me for 3 whole days, he wins the game. If I find him, the general smiled. He loses. Suppose he refuses to be haunted. Oh, said the general, I give him his option, of course. He needs not play that game if he doesn't wish to. If he does not wish to hunt, I turn him over to Even. Even once had the honor of serving as official nauta to the great white Caesar, and he has his own ideas of sport. Invariably, Mr. Rainsford, invariably they choose to hunt, and if they win, the smile on the general's face widened. Today I have not lost, he said. Then he added, hastily, I don't wish you to think me a braggart, Mr. Rainsford. Many of them afford only the most elementary sort of problem. Occasionally I strike a tata. One almost did when I eventually had to use the dogs. The dogs. This way, please, I'll show you. Oh. The general steered Rainsford to a window. The lights from the windows sent a flickering illumination that made grotesque patterns on the courtyard below, and Rainsford could see moving about there a dozen or so huge black shapes. As they turned toward him, their eyes glittered greenly. A rather good lot, I think. Observe the general. They are let out at 7 every night. If anyone should try to get into my house or out of it, something extremely regrettable would occur to him. He hummed the snatch of song from the fallen bird. And now, said the general, I want to show you my new collection of heads. Will you come with me to the library? I hope, said Rainsford, that you will excuse me tonight, General Zeroff. I'm really not feeling well. Ah, indeed, the general inquired solicitously. Well, I suppose that's only natural after your long swim. You need a good, restful night's sleep. Tomorrow you will feel like a new man. I'll wager. Then it will haunt, eh? I've one rather promising prospect. Rainsford was hurrying from the room. Sorry you can't go with me tonight, called the general. I expect rather fair sport. A big, strong black. He looks resourceful. Well, good night, Miss Rainsford. I hope you have a good night's rest. The bed was good, and the pajamas of the softest silk, and he was tired in every fiber of his being, but nevertheless, Rainsford could not quiet his brain with the opiate of sleep. Oh, hello, hi, Imo. Are you still there? It's been 30 minutes. The end of tonight's live. Oh, ah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I I mean, I know it's so boring to listen to a guy who reads alone, you know. Thanks for being with me throughout tonight's life. And I'm gonna see you tomorrow, and probably I'll finish this story tomorrow. Cause I mean, this is a short story, definitely. I think I'm like halfway done, or about a quarter left. That's what I guess. Thanks for telling me. A great job, and I'll do a good job. I'll keep up with it. Okay. See you tomorrow. I'll call you soon. Okay. Bye bye.